Let's talk about JB Hunt versus Landstar versus Schneider for drivers. So, if you're a driver and you're interested in JB Hunt or Landstar or Schneider, you gotta ask yourself which one should you go for. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. So I want to start with JB Hunt. So when you think about JB Hunt, I want you to think about flexibility. I mean, JB Hunt gives you the possibility to deliver, actually to drive all kinds of vehicles, not just trucks. And so JB Hunt offers local, regional, and over-the-road OTR routes for drivers. And it's the sheer size of this company allows it to have routes in nearly every part of the country. So that's really good, from coast to coast. And so this gives drivers a wide hiring area, also a wide recruiting area. And they also have street jobs. JB Hunt has a street truck driving jobs for non-CDL drivers. So we're talking about delivering and installing items like furniture, appliances, and more. So while JB Hunt doesn't work with drivers trying to get their CDL, they do take on recent graduates for their apprenticeship program. So that's really cool. So once a driver successfully completes their apprenticeship program, they can work full-time on their dedicated intermodal or final mile fleets. And so JB Hunt works with employee drivers, lease purchase drivers, and owner operators. So in terms of flexibility, JB Hunt is really great there. And the company works with multiple third-party lease programs, and owner operators have access to JB Hunt load boards and the Drive app. So there is an app, fantastic. And 90 to 95% of JB Hunt drivers are home weekly or daily. So that's really cool. In terms of division and freight type, well, JB Hunt drivers can work in 4 divisions: dedicated, final mile, intermodal, or truckload. So as a dedicated driver, you serve a single customer. This driving position actually gives you more flexibility than other divisions. JB Hunt is the largest dedicated provider in the country. You also have a final mile driver. So final mile drivers are the last link in the delivery chain. They deliver and install freight at customer homes, apartment complexes, and so on. Then you have intermodal drivers. Those transport freight containers from rail yards to customer destinations. With freight and route consistency, drivers can take advantage of more home time and different shift options. Then you have the truckload division. This is their OTR division, with drivers spending a few weeks out on the road hauling 53-inch trailers. So that's really the sort of categorization you need to pay attention to. So ask yourself which one you want to drive in. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Now let's talk about the pay. So JB Hunt, there is a wide pay range for JB Hunt drivers, depending on which division you are driving. Remember the 4 divisions, right? Dedicated driver, final mile driver, intermodal driver, and truckload driver. So basically, drivers can earn anywhere from $60,000 to $200,000 per year, with 70,000 to 90,000 being the average. Keep in mind, the highest ranges are typically made by owner operators, so that's really important to keep that in mind. And JB Hunt drivers can be paid differently depending on their career path. They could be paid daily, hourly, per mile, percentage, or per stop. It's one of those things where you have to negotiate this with the company. And JB Hunt offers bonuses like sign-on bonuses, referral bonuses, and productivity bonuses. So that's something that they're constantly improving. What about the benefits here? Now, because JB Hunt is such a large carrier, they have a lot of buying power and therefore greater access to good benefits. So employee drivers receive access to medical, dental, and vision plans and life insurance policies, as well as 401k plans and paid time off. So that's really good in terms of flexibility, but also benefits efficiency. Independent contractors have access to discounts on everything from tires and fuel to insurance plans. So you can see that this is one of those things where if you're an owner operator, you can still benefit from your connection to JB Hunt. The company aims to get all drivers home for Christmas. They have a free rider program, and in some cases, pets are allowed in the trucks. So that's really good. If you're a pet lover, you will love this aspect of things. In terms of equipment, JB Hunt has newer, well-maintained equipment from their trucks to their trailers. So that's really good. So you won't see a lot, if any, beat up trucks in their fleet. So you can be sure you are driving something that's either new or relatively new. So that's really good in terms of safety, in terms of efficiency, and in terms of convenience too. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you to this topic, we are having a conversation about JB Hunt versus Landstar versus Schneider for drivers. Let's talk about Landstar. So when you think about Landstar, I want you to think about a company that is constantly improving its delivery quality and its responsiveness. And it's one of those things where, Landstar is really hands down. It's a really a great company. Customer service is great. Employee benefits are great. You can be a mileage. You can work as an in-house driver. You can work on a mileage contract. You can be an owner operator. It really depends on what you want to. It's one of those things where you have to really ask yourself, what do you want to do with the bank or with the company? Landstar is really great in terms of flexibility. You are able to take a lot of opportunities depending on the geography they hire you at. It's one of those things where you got to ask yourself also if you are going to think of a Landstar as a full time opportunity or part time. We actually advise all our business clients to choose a Landstar as an owner operator or as a mileage contractor. Okay, and the cool thing is that you are able to work with a lot of very nice folks there. Okay, it's one of those, and the pay is really good. I mean, in terms of pay, we are talking about you can go from $50,000 if you are new, all the way to $150,000. Okay, so the possibilities are there. That's for sure. One thing I want to say is that besides the jobs themselves, you also have the Landstar load board. So Landstar load board is really great. So when you choose to work with Landstar as an owner operator, you are in the driver's seat. This is an opportunity to grow your business on your own terms. You choose the loads directly off the company's load board, and you choose when and how much you want to work. And the best part is that you will work on a percentage pay basis. You get paid based on a percentage of the load, and as rates continue to go up, you'll be paid more as a result. So this increased pay leads to larger settlements for you. No more standard pay on a load, so that's really good. And loads are added in the thousands per day, meaning the only downtime you will face is when you want it. And the company is actually 100% owner operator, and everything is offered from flatbed and van routes to heavy haul and expedited options. So that's really great. And rates vary greatly depending on loads, and you'll find that the highest loads are off the board quickly because of competition. I mean, you're not the only one, okay? That's really important to keep that in mind. And a long story short, what we love about Landstar is that they're constantly making sure that they work with all kinds of owner operators, all kinds of drivers. So that's really good in terms of professionalism, but also in terms of opportunities. That's just fantastic. So when we talk about Landstar, you have a company that's very flexible in terms of driver requirements. You can become an owner operator with Landstar today, not a problem. And the thing is that to qualify, you must meet the following criteria. Owner operator minimum requirements. You must be at least 23 years of age. Class A or Class B for expedited. CDL with hazmat H or combination X endorsement. No more than 2 at-fault accidents and 2 motor vehicle violations within the previous 36 months, or no more than 1 at-fault accident and 3 motor vehicle violations during the previous 36 months, and no involvement in a preventable DOT recordable accident in the past 12 months. So that means that you got to really take care of your safety. And operators must have 1 year, 6 months for expedited, of verifiable over the road driving within the past 3 years, or 2 years of verifiable experience in the last 5 years, with Class A or Class B for expedited CDL using the type of equipment similar to what you'll be operating on Landstar. So, really important. No felony convictions within the past 7 years. All other felony and misdemeanor charges are reviewed on a case by case basis. No positive drug or alcohol test, including refusals and pre-employment results. No suspensions of more than 30 days for moving violations in the last 36 months. No more than one serious violation as defined on Table 2 of Section 383.51 of the FMCSR Handbook within the previous 36 months prior to qualifications. No railroad highway grade crossing offenses as defined in the legislation. No citation or convictions for reckless driving or careless endangerment during the past 3 years rather. No DUI charges within the 60-month period prior to the order date. So that's important. You got to be proficient enough in English to understand highway traffic signs and signals, respond to official inquiries, make entries on reports and records, and converse with the public. So Landstar is really careful about its reputation, and you got to provide and maintain actually proper labels and types of approved insurance during your lease with Landstar, including unladen liability and occupational accident coverage, or in some cases, statutory workers' compensation coverage. Those are mandatory. If statutory workers' compensation coverage is required and you do not participate in the fleet workers' compensation plan, coverage must be provided by licensed carriers with acceptable interstate coverage. So that's really important. Now, these are minimum operator qualification standards subject to DOT requirements, okay? That's really important. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about JB Hunt versus Landstar versus Schneider. Now let's talk about Schneider. So when you think about Schneider, you got to think about a more established company, that's for sure. And it's one of those things where you got to ask yourself, where do you see your career 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Because Schneider is like every other mega carrier, should be really treated as a starting point and nothing more. So you are using them for experience, and they are using you for cheap labor. That's what it is. I mean, of course, they're giving you a lot of opportunities. Their pay is relatively lower than what you get at JB Hunt or, let's say, Landstar, okay? And it's one of those things where you got to really see what kind of possibilities what kind of scenarios you're looking for. What we love about Schneider is that you have a wide range of dedicated accounts and schedules to fit your needs. You're not strictly struck with being OTR or regional if you don't want to be, depending on your area. And so that's really good. In terms of safety, that's really good. I mean, Schneider is really uptight about safety, and especially when it comes to critical events. And some trucks are more susceptible to them than others, but they are going to happen. Just explain if anything happened. Schneider is really open. They have open lines of communication. They talk to you, not a problem. One thing I want to say here is that when it comes to the number of opportunities, I mean, let's first talk about salary. So salary, you are looking at 40,000 all the way to 90,000 as an in-house driver. As an owner operator, you can expect anywhere from 75,000 all the way to 125,000, depending on the location. Okay, and basically, and the more you are with Schneider, the more money you make. It's all about experience. Experience gets you more money. Okay, and what we love about the Schneider is that you are able to have all kinds of possibilities, not only in terms of opportunities, but also in terms of the analytics. In other words, the Schneider has a load board that allows you to see exactly what's happening. You are able to see what kind of jobs you want to take. But one thing we have found in our experience with Schneider is that they're really particular when it comes to safety. So be very careful here. Like, don't talk over the phone, right? You want to do your job and be as strict, like be as studious, with the job as possible. Very, very important. With Schneider, in some cases, they might ask you to do some overnight services, to actually provide some overnight services. And so prepare yourself to be on hold for, like, to be actually assigned to specific jobs. And it's always important to have a mentor within the company. So if you're a new driver, you want to actually make sure that you have a more senior Schneider driver. That way you can ask all questions. Obviously, the company has a knowledge base where you can ask all questions, but it's always important to ask somebody directly if you have more pressing questions. One thing I want to say here is that it really depends on your location. Also, some locations are more competitive than others. Okay, and if you are in the metro area of New York, for instance, or LA, things are more competitive. Whereas if you are in somewhere in the country where competition is lower, then you might have the opportunity to talk to someone. And one thing I want to say is that we actually recommend Schneider to anybody. So you want to use Schneider as a platform for bigger and better things in your career. So you want to use Schneider to start your career, and later on you can go to JB Hunt or Landstar, where the pay is way higher and way better. Schneider is great to have this. You can have their mention their name on your resume. That's really cool. But in terms of career plan, this is not a company that you really, I mean, unless you are a Schneider lover. I mean, we love Schneider. We have a lot of clients, business clients that who are currently working for Schneider, a lot of owner operators. But it's one of those things where the way they pay is a little different from, say, if you were to work with JB Hunt, Landstar, UPS, FedEx, or other players in this field. It's just not, the money is not there yet. And also, same thing for benefits. So if those things are important for you, then you might want to think about another player, that's for sure. So JB Hunt versus Landstar versus Schneider for drivers. Which one should you go for? Well, first of all, let me give you the overview you want to pay attention to. So it's important to understand that when we talk about choosing a truck, like a trucking company, you want to pay attention to a few criteria. The pay, the home time. Home time is really important because you do not want to really endanger your family life because of your work life. You got to really be able to maintain a proper work life balance. Okay. And we are talking about safety also, retention, respect, diversity of options, and equipment. So those are very important elements that you want to pay attention to. So when we talk about the JB Hunt versus Landstar versus Schneider, it really depends on what you're looking for. We will, okay, which one do we recommend? We recommend JB Hunt. If you really think about all the 7 elements that I just listed for you, the pay, the home time, the safety, the retention, the respect, the diversity of options, and the equipment, JB Hunt is way better. And then the next is Landstar. Landstar is really the second, a very close second when it comes to those indicators. And Schneider is actually a third. Now, it doesn't mean that Schneider is a bad player. Schneider is just in a different category, as I said a little earlier. You choose Schneider as a transitional platform. Okay, Schneider is great, but for things like OTR, things like owner operators, expedited, JB Hunt and Landstar are way better. For things like retention, diversity of options, equipment, JB Hunt and Landstar are way better. Of course, Schneider is a bigger platform. They do a lot more than trucking. So the possibilities are there for you to make more money if you sort of diversify your operations. But if we're talking about strictly drivers, JB Hunt and Landstar are way better, with JB Hunt, of course, being the better route. So if you want a local or regional route, JB Hunt might be your best bet. And the thing is that JB Hunt pays very well, has great benefits, and has options for company drivers, lease drivers, or owner operators. So the options are there. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I gave you a quick compare and contrast between JB Hunt, Landstar, and Schneider. So I gave you the review, the overview, the decision, and now the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.